So this is my most recent read, Secret Lives by Mark D. Castrique. Ethel Cresswater is a 75-year-old woman who runs a boarding house, but she's definitely a lot more than meets the eye. For one thing, other than her distant cousin Jesse, who's a grad student that recently came to stay with her after his mother passed away, most of her boarders are actually federal agents. She's currently renting rooms to 2 people from the Secret Service and a member of the FBI. And it turns out that historically, in general, these are the kind of people who have stayed at her boarding house. So the story technically begins when one of Ethel's boarders is murdered right in front of her house. Jesse heard the gunshots and was the first person on the scene, and he also saw 2 people running away. And he's really shocked when this elderly old woman comes and knows all these things about how criminal investigations are handled, tells him how to try to deal with the gunshot wound that the person suffered. And quickly becomes apparent to Jesse that there's a great deal about this distant cousin that he did not know. Not only is she super well versed in criminal investigations, she has a lot of connections to people that he wouldn't have imagined she would know, like the director of the Secret Service. So this event kicks off a bunch of different investigations by local police, FBI, and the Secret Service, as well as Ethel herself. One thing she does almost right away is that she discovers this bag of money that was hidden in the victim's room, and she hides it because there are questions here about jurisdictions between these different law enforcement agencies, and she has her own suspicions about the kind of people who might be involved and what you might need to do in order to get justice. And she cares pretty deeply about anyone who has stayed with her. She generally views the people that she has looked after as family. She's never, had kids of her own and never married and stuff. So I don't really have any specific likes or dislikes for this story. It was a fun and fast-paced kind of read. It's the kind of story that jumps around quite a bit across different characters. And it's really good at writing people's sections so that a lot of them come across as really suspicious. I guess if I picked a downside, that would probably be it, because it made it hard to decide whose side you should be on, for instance, and creates more tension than I typically like. And it's got a lot more focus on the action where an investigation goes really fast, as opposed to the slower kind of detective story where you go around questioning people and stuff like that. It was kind of cool that I learned a bit about things like cryptocurrency, which I did not understand before. Actually, I'm still not sure I entirely understand now, but it's always fun to learn something new. And yeah, in general, it was enjoyable. You learn quite a bit about Ethel's pretty spectacular history, and you get to meet a lot of very colorful characters, and there's a good amount of humor, I think, as well as the tension.